Um, Good afternoon. I must say, I have to say that last night I had this dream that I was here, that there were only two people here. One of them was talking on his mobile phone all the time, and the other one was eating a crumpet. And there were no books, and my books were nowhere to be seen, so I must say I'm really glad to be here and see a group of people. So it just shows my anxiety level about what was going to happen today. But anyway, very nice to see you all here. Just a little bit really about my background. I came here from South Africa, where I'd been living for 20 years. And so this really is the reason why I started writing these memoirs about living on the waterways here in the Netherlands. If you can imagine, sort of picture the scenario of coming here from a very dry, arid part of the world to a land of, well, there's water everywhere here, I think we all know that. And coming from Johannesburg, I came here and initially I rented a barge from a friend in the Oude Harbour in Rotterdam. The barge had no running water, it had no electricity, it had no plumbing, it had nowhere to wash. So you can imagine this was a bit of a difference to my life in sunny, warm South Africa. And after having been here for a year, you know, I'd got used to it, and then I decided that I didn't want to give it up. I loved it so much that when my landlord told me that he was going to sell the barge that I was living on, I thought, oh my goodness, what am I going to do now? And the short story to that is that I bought my own barge. Also a historic barge. I don't know if any of you know Rotterdam or the Oude Haven there. It's dedicated to the restoration and renovation of historic Dutch barges. So because I wanted to stay there, I had no option but to also buy a heap of rusting rivets and convert it for living on myself. So my book, Harbour Ways, is actually the second, like Simon's, it's the second in the, well, not the series, because I doubt it will be another one. But the first one was Watery Ways, which was about how I came to live on the barge and how I grew to love this kind of life. And then, having published that, a number of people said to me, yes, but what then? You bought this barge, what did you do to it? You know, how did you manage to buy an empty shell and make it into somewhere to live? So I thought, okay, I could write about it. But I thought, yes, but it's, you know, is it really going to be that interesting for people to write about my building and construction? But when I started looking back and I realized, actually, there were so many really funny things that happened, and basically the theme of the book is that everything takes longer than you think it's going to. At least 3 times longer than you think it's going to. So I thought, well, that's my theme, isn't it? When I moved onto the barge, I said, the first thing I'm going to do on this barge is build a bathroom. Well, it took a year and a half for me to get my bathroom. It was probably the last thing I actually got. And in the interim period, there were all sorts of other delays and problems and things that I had to face because, largely speaking, I did everything on my own and by myself, with the help of some lovely friends now and then in the harbour, and my nearest and dearest over here, and another one over there. But it was my project, and I had to solve the problems myself. So that's really what Harbour Ways is about. It's about how I converted a 114-year-old Dutch barge that was an empty shell into a liveaboard home, which one of these days is going to sail away with me to France and potter around the French canals in happy and eccentric retirement. Thank you very much.
Val, can I ask you, what is it you like most about living on a boat? What's special about living on a boat compared to a house?
Well, a boat is like having your own island. Although you have neighbours, you don't have neighbours. You can't hear them. You can't feel their presence in any way. And the neighbours that you do hear are the ducks pecking at the side of the barge, and the fish sort of rising beside you. So you hear a lot of plop plopping sounds that at first you think means that you're sinking. And you talk about depth and shallows. Well, those were my depths. Always thinking that I was about to sink. But those are the different kind of neighbours that you have, and that's really special. When you go to bed and you go to sleep and you hear the sound of the water slapping against the hull, that's really special. Yeah.
And you left a part of your life behind in Johannesburg, so it was kind of a renovation of your own life as well as the boat. And how did that feel? Is that a little bit of a metaphor for how it went?
Yes, you could say that, yes, because I think the whole process of actually getting used to this completely new way of life made me look at things very differently and made me realise that, well, I don't really go into that much in the book because that's then and this is now.
Yes.
But it really, yes, it made me appreciate really the simple things of life, and it made me appreciate what real friendship is, because I made some terrific friends in the harbour, and yeah, it was rebuilding a life. Yeah.